Hi everyone, this is Carla, the mayor of Dorktown. Yes, I'm still the mayor. Although there's, I think, an election coming up. There must be, because, oh my gosh, can't watch TV now without, good thing I don't watch that much, otherwise it would drive me insane. Anyway, hope you'll vote for me again this year. And that's my plug on that. So, let's talk about the last video. So it was brought to my attention that in my last video I looked really sad and I wasn't quite myself. So even when my health has gone downhill, or we need a change in medication, or I'm just exhausted, I don't normally come off that way. So like I said last time, I had had a significant death in my family, and right after I made that video last time, not right after, but a little bit after that one, I had another one. So I guess there's some history here. So my mother passed away in 2009. And she left behind her my stepdad, who has kind of been my father figure for 30 years. That's significant, right? Well, a couple years ago, he'd had a massive stroke, and I had gone to see him that time, but then he had remarried, and apparently his new wife, I expect no less, because it seems to me that my stepfather and my biological father both have a preference for crazy people. Yes, this includes my mother. It's fine. I've been coming to terms with my mother and our relationship, which I don't want to say it was complicated. It was pretty cut and dried. Either she's having a not crazy day, or she's decided to have a crazy day. I mean, that's what it was. So when I met my stepdad's new wife, I was not surprised to find that she had control issues, I guess. She did not want anyone from my mother's side of the family to be in contact with whatsoever with my stepdad. And this bothered me a little bit. So when I had gone to see him last time, she did everything she could to make sure that I didn't see him, but I'm kind of smart. I found out where he was. I went to see him. He was happy to see me. That's all there is to it. So it doesn't surprise me also that whenever I would call and speak to my stepdad on the phone, he wouldn't tell his wife. Apparently it was a bone of contention as far as from my observations and understanding, it was just something that he just didn't do. So she was not aware that we were in communication with each other at all. I think in her mind she thought, only came around every once in a blue moon, or she had me confused with his actual daughter, who nobody's been in contact with for, gosh, I want to say 10 or 15 years. I mean, nobody knows where she's at. So that bothers me, but anyway, so when my stepdad had passed away in May, I was told point blank, I'm I'm not wanted down there. Don't come down. There's nothing for me to do there. Don't do it. She laid down the ground rules. And granted, the house she's living in belonged to my mother and stepfather. According to the law, if she states that she doesn't want me there because she is in possession of everything, legally, I have to abide by her rules. So I got really upset and was basically denied any kind of, funeral or closure or anything like that. Again, because my stepdad, when my mom had passed away, he said, I'm going to take her ashes to Hawaii and spread them there. I'll let you know when I'm going, so if you want to come, you can come too. Well, I waited, and he never called me. So when I called him, he said he already did it. So, this, for him to pass away and me to be denied this as well, that was like you know, what kind of punch it was. And it was not a good punch. Right in the, So it took me a little bit to work my way through that emotional dilemma because normally I get fired up pretty quick about stuff I feel very strongly about. And it took me a while, and thankfully I have an aunt and an uncle who are very understanding, and for some reason are just starting to realize that they are now the elders of the family, and that's why everyone turns to them. They're elderly. I'm sorry, Aunt Jenny, if you ever watch this, you're old. So I understand I'm getting there too, but you're beating me to the finish line. I really shouldn't say stuff like that, but it's funny. So, working through all that, thankfully I have people I can talk to about that, you know, family, you want to talk to your family about stuff like that, saying, "Oh my God." So I was working through that, and then uh just recently, um my surrogate mother passed away, and called her a surrogate mother because she is the mother of one of my best friends, and the she was great. She was wonderful, and the weird thing is, my friend and I were on the phone talking at the moment she passed away. And strangely, I mean, I want to say it was kind of creepy that happened, but at the same time, I'm glad it happened that way because at least she knew we were talking to each other and laughing. Yeah, we were laughing when she passed. But what a good way to go. Instead of people crying, oh, I mean, you don't want your last earthly memory to be people sobbing. I think that's why they have celebrations of life, or, the good old-fashioned Irish wake, telling stupid stories. And, well, that's what we were doing. We were laughing when she passed. And uh, strangely, I'm grateful that, she passed away the way that she did, surrounded by love, of course. And the last earthly thing she heard were two girls laughing. And strangely, I don't feel bad, if that makes sense. When someone significant to you passes away, of course, there's the initial, oh my gosh, I've lost this person, they're gone forever. But it took about a week, you know, And I didn't have any bad thoughts. I didn't have any bad feelings. There was nothing to work through, you know? And that was such a relief. And so, I'm not happy she's gone, but I'm happy, if that makes sense. I know my friend is still working through some things, and she's doing, I like what she's doing now, and it helps her because she is officially parentless. So that's a big wow. Yeah, so I'm there for her, even though, and I could share some of my joy with her, which I probably will, in daily or a couple times a week, whenever she needs me. But I just want to thank my surrogate mom for being the person that she was, because I think that's what made it easier. So, okay. So that is my story about significant deaths and being sad. The only thing I have to worry about right now is finding a damn job. Who knew that'd be so hard? But I had been warned and I ignored it because I'm awesome and I automatically assume everyone wants awesome in their office. Apparently not. So, moving on. The next terribly sad subject we're going to talk about are thieves. Okay, so I don't know which one to address first. Okay, I'm not involved, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen McKenna's videos about Maui Jen. I don't know her either. I've never watched her videos. I never followed her on Instagram, so I had no idea who she was. And I start seeing posts and upset people and McKenna's videos about how Maui Jen was taking money for a stitching retreat. Now, who doesn't want to go to Hawaii? So I'm confident there were some people paying. And, Hawaii, I'm not defending Maui Jen. I'm just going to put this out there because I want to know her side of the story. I want to know how this went down, and I'm not trying to justify her actions or downplay the outrage that people feel right now. But I would like to know the other side of the story. I mean, it's technically none of my business because I'm not involved, but I would like to know Jen's part of the story, what happened. And I don't know if that'll lessen the blow for anyone, anything like that. I did send her a message the other day. I figure since she's pretty much blocked everyone and took all her content down and all that stuff, she may or may not be paying attention to anyone. I don't know. So, you all just keep doing what you're doing. It just bothers me that there isn't her side of the story out there. And she may have tried to fumble through what was going on to explain, and everyone was more worried about the money than anything. So put the money aside and let's find out what really happened, because, there's always two sides to a story. And in this case, there are many, 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 many sides. Oh, I'm not saying that in the end it's not all bad. It just bothers me just a little bit. So I did message her and I asked if she wanted to share. That would be great. But if she wants to keep this to herself, that's fine too. I'm okay with that. Although I still want to know because I'm very curious. I mean, this is a big deal. Stitching retreats in Hawaii? Really? Awesome. Who doesn't want to go there? Unless, of course, there's a volcano exploding and lava's coming out, and you don't want to mess up your stitching, do you? Okay, so I've been binge watching a lot of Floss Tube lately. Okay, I've been going through this weird dry spell lately. Now, you understand why. I've had this dry spell, there's no money to spend, so why look for stuff to buy? Um, Two significant deaths, so, buying anything other than a castle or a Ferretti yacht, it's just off the table, And yes, I window shop for castles and yachts because it's fun. You should try it. So, I mean, yes, it's kind of wasting time, but at the same time, it's kind of relaxing, kind of imagining yourself, on your own private yacht or, having a castle. Because I answered a Apocalypse question for September about stitching retreats. Was it the September one? Because I did 5 months all at once. One of the questions was about stitching retreats, and I thought my friends and I have been talking about this for years, having one in a lodge or in a castle. Well, since I've been recently window shopping for castles, I'm going to go with castle for now until we find one of those really great lodges. I lost my point. Oh, so anyway, yeah, I found it again. Sorry. If Ashley's watching this, power down, power up. Anyway, so I haven't been like shopping or window shopping for crafty things lately. The money thing is probably the biggest issue as to why not, but the binge watching the floss tube, the flip floss stuff, the floss tube. It was all fine until I got to Annie LeMay, and I started because when I see a new floss tuber or someone I'm not familiar with, I'll just click subscribe and they go on the list alphabetically. I'm still in the A's, okay? I'm binge watching alphabetically. I'm being systematic. I mean, at one point last year, I got tired of all the A's and went to the Z's and started working my way up, Craziness. So back to the binge watching, I get through the A's. And there she was. So I started with number 1, and I believe I made it to number 10 before I had to stop everything and actually look at stuff. I didn't buy anything. But next thing I know, 2 hours have gone by because I'm looking at stuff. And I kind of felt good about it because I was like, well, at least I haven't lost my ability to window shop for cross stitch. So kind of pleased about that. But while I was shopping for the stuff, I landed on Etsy. And here's the thing, a lot of us out there in the cross stitch community have been cross stitching and getting cross stitch magazines for approximately 8,000 years. Okay, so if you haven't actually owned the magazine, you've flipped through a few in your time. And then with the advent of the internet, and let's all go online and we can do online shopping and see all of the things. I'm sorry, I think we're at the point now where if you're trying to be Sneaky Pete and sell things, that you're taking credit for, no. It's no. And within a 5-minute period of time, I found 2 sellers on Etsy who are selling patterns PDF that are, let me find an example. I have an example. I do, honest. Okay. So say you have a Dimensions kit or a Riolis or Vervaco, something like that. I just happen to have one right here. This is my poppy bisque new because, you know, my poppy bag has to be full of, and there's so much room in here. I have more for more poppies. So if you have a poppy pattern and you just feel very strongly that I should have it, you just go right ahead, contact me, and ship it on out. I'll be fine with that. Anyway, so you get one of these kits, right? And 2 people have done this. There's a Riolis poppy pattern. Yes, that one was Riolis. That they took the pattern, they scanned it, made it into a PDF, and now they're selling it on Etsy. No. Then I find the second one because I came across Cicely Mary Barker's Red Poppy Fairy pattern. And granted, her patterns are a little older, but they're still valid. They're still pretty. They're still cute. And they used to come in these kits. And I think you can still find them out there here and there. But this person, and this is a second person, this isn't the first person that does it on their website. They don't claim to have a contract with Dimensions or Riolis or Vervaco. They just say, here it is, and put in some dimension informations, but they don't say they have permission to do it by the artist or by any of the companies. Nothing. That's the first one. The second one specifically stated not to resell the pattern or sell the stitched product because they worked very hard on it. And that's when I became enraged. And while I was explaining about these 2 thieves on Etsy to my friends, I found a third one. Unbelievable. So now I don't usually like going around tattling on people because, you know, it's really not my thing. But I honestly, for cross stitch, crochet, knitting, stuff like that, people spend a lot of time creating what they create and they don't get very much for it. So what little bit they do get should mean something. And when it's being taken away from them by people who think it's okay to take the pattern out of the kit, scan it, create a PDF and sell it, even if it's just for $1.50, and then claim it's yours, you did all this work on it, that's unacceptable. So I reported them. That's what I did yesterday. So, I don't know. Okay, so 23 minutes in, and it's all bad news so far. Let me look on my list and see what's next. Well, I do have some good news. I finished some things. I finished some things. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you know what those things are. The first one being Boo Cat. Well, it's actually called Halloween Cat. And I put the whiskers on this time. I thought I was finished with it when I originally said, oh my gosh, I'm so done with this. And then someone else posted their finish of the cat, and I realized I didn't, by looking at their picture, I realized I had no whiskers. So I put those in. It's actually finished. And then I'm going to, oh, what's this? Oh, so I could see. I'm going to make a pillow out of it with this fabulous sparkly bat pattern. See how the colors go? There's that. So there is Boo Cat. And that's by Lucky Star Stitches on Etsy. She doesn't steal her patterns. She does just fine. And then I have Happy Halloween. And I don't know if you can tell or not. Well, I guess you can. So let's see if I can get this done right. All right, so the spider up here, that is this beautiful electric blue Krynic. And then with the pumpkins and the ghost, I used 2 different colors of Sulky Hollow Shimmer. And there's another blue spider. And I used all of my blindingly black Krynic for the bats and for the stripes in the A. You know, it's all over in there. If you could see it in person, I'm trying to do this so you could, let's see. I don't know if you can tell. Well, it is super cool looking. I like it. And for some reason, I think this is the second year I've done it, but blindingly black in anything that says Happy Halloween is the way to go. So I'm going to have to stock up for next year just in case, because I don't know what next year's Halloween stitch along patterns are going to be. There might be just one, there might be a bunch like we did this year and last year. Who knows? So there's 2 finishes. And then I finally got around to finishing the August Neglected Floss stitch along pattern, and of course bisque cornu, because I'm making all bisque cornu this year. How can you not? And then I followed that up by finishing the September, and this one I'm calling September Bearberries because the colors on here remind me of the side of a hill in Alaska that has bearberries, and those are the colors, strangely enough, even with the purple. The flosses I used on these were the Sullivans, and I'm going to be doing a product review on my blog. After I stitch my Tall Poppy pattern by Unconventional Cross Stitch, because I've done many things and I need to explain those things, and you need to understand those things, and blah blah blah. And then last night, I finished Lizzie Kate's 4 Seasons. I'll get that up there so you could see them. There it is. You know what this means, right? This means it's time for a giveaway. And if you don't remember, I started winter, the first day of winter 2017, and ended with autumn. And technically, let me look on the back. I'm going to open this because I forgot to open it earlier. On the back of these little flippets, it shows that they started with spring. So you see that? So spring, summer, autumn, winter. Okay, but I figure you know, I wanted to start it, so I started it on the first day of winter, and then finished the first one, which was winter. And then on the first day of spring, I did spring. On the first day of summer, I did summer. And unfortunately, I was a little late for autumn. I had it out on the first day of autumn, which was last Sunday. Not yesterday, but like a week ago. And then just finished it last night, so woo. And then the border, of course, that doesn't come with the Flip-Its. You got to go online and get it there, but they give you the website. Now, the buttons, let's talk about those. The little buttons that come on here, they're super tiny, but you know, I recommend you find something else to put on there. I mean, granted, they're just little buttons, whatever, but when they were cut in the die, they're just, I don't know. I didn't like them. They're on here now, but I don't like them. Find something else. Get more creative. But the giveaway is going to be all 4 of these. Let me pull them out so you can see. I just had them out too. Jeez Louise. Yes, let's listen to the crinkling. That's always fun. Okay, so, oh, I guess I'm including that too. So you'll get all 4 seasons, and I printed out the instructions from the website to show you how to do all your seasons. And like I said, you don't have to do them in the order they put on there. But if you like to be exact and do it just like they say, perfect. The only thing that's not going to be in these for the giveaway are those stupid buttons. I don't know. I haven't researched it, so I don't know if you can still get those horrible little buttons. But again, I recommend, you know, maybe if you have some notions, like for winter, get some snowflakes or a snowflake something, but or beads. And then for spring, definitely would like some beads on there unless you want to keep it not blingy. For summer, I would still go with beads. I don't even know why I didn't just go with beads. Oh. But I started with the buttons, might as well end with the buttons. Of course, I could still take those off and do beads. It's finished now. I'm not even going to do it anymore. Anyway, these 4, I'll wait till the end of the video to figure out how I want to do the giveaway, but that's those. All right, moving on, because, you know, I still feel super great about this finish, because that's 1 whip done. A whip done. So, good news there. The Halloween stitch along continues with, I'm working on Spooks and Spells right now. Whoops. There we go. See if you can see that all right. There it is. And I am using, for this, there's supposed to be 2 different, like a periwinkle blue and a violet color for, you know, spooks and spells intermixed with all the black and stuff. But I chose to just use some Jody Ree hand-dyed threads. This is the July 2018 limited edition blue kaleidoscope. Isn't that pretty? And if you were watching Christine Derone over at Every Stitch is a Pleasure, I believe I gave her a skein. And I know she likes blue, so Good choice there. Oh, she and I could have stitching retreats all the time. Just together. Go down to one of the coffee shops or just one of our living rooms. Okay. Next up is Ashley's Doodle Bird. I haven't done anything on it, but it's going to happen very soon. Going to happen. October, Neglected Floss Stitch Along. That's where I'm at right now. It's kind of a complicated back stitchy pattern, but I'm using Weeks Dye Works Jack-O-Lantern on the outside, and then just the black and the orange on the inside with black and orange beads. That is going to be a very blingy and exciting bisque cornu for October. Look for that later on. And then finally, there is the unconventional cross stitch Halloween stitch along. And I think this is as far as I was last time. I don't remember. Put that there. But this is Zombie Shake. You can see her, I try and imitate the grasp, like, there we go. It's like this. I spend too much time alone, and it's a fact, because I do. Days and days and days all by myself. Okay, so that is that. Zara, if you're watching, my computer did this weird, okay, I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but with Windows 10, you can upload to the OneDrive, the cloud, whatever that's called. And if you don't change your settings, or you have an update and forgot to go back and change your settings, everything that's on your computer automatically uploads to the cloud, and then it's no longer on your computer. Why it does that, I just don't know, but I don't like it, and I just had an update and forgot to change that. So I went looking for the pattern that I'm going to use, because I've shown you all before that spirograph pattern. I was trying to make the bisque cornu for the stitchy bag for the Stitchathon prize for Zara Clee, and that didn't turn out so well, so I had to get a new pattern. Well, I got the new pattern, and then the pattern went away, so I just got the new pattern again this morning, so I'll be working on that this week. So don't freak out. Also, Zara, I saw what you faved in my store, and just for funsies and because you've had to wait, I'm including that in with the prize. So, okay, so Zara, because I've had quite a few custom order requests in my Etsy store, I have decided I will put a few of my project bags in the Etsy store. Hopefully they're okay. I always worry about that because I see a lot of perfect sewing. Mine's not perfect. I try, and when I try for perfection, something goes horribly wrong. So I'm just going to calm down and just sew some bags. I'm going to try a couple different ways to do it and see what I come up with, but I'll have a few like this, and I'm thinking I'll have a couple that have the top zip, so you know they could be for anything, you know, your crocheting, knitting, cross stitch, whatever. So I don't know. I don't want to put a time crunch on this because life always happens. And right now I am waiting to hear back on some jobs I applied for last Wednesday. So I could be right at the middle of making project bags and then get an interview and start right now. I'm so optimistic. Anyway, I'll try for within the next 2 weeks. So within the next 2 weeks, check out my shop and see if any project bags are in there. If that's what you're looking for. If not, I have these beautiful floss pads. Beautiful floss pads. I love this one. I actually want to keep one for myself, but look at that. That's both sides. Some of them have a different back side, like okay, here we go. I think these are partridges. That's what they look like to me, but the back side has the rose. But both sides are functional. You can get, you can have floss on, whoops, either side, and it's fine. So back side, front side, either way. I mean, then you can wad it all up and put it wherever, but it's all good. Some partridges. And I should explain this one because some of you have been in my shop and I have two of these, two different sizes of the Unidolicorn. Now, if you look at it, it's a unicorn, but they have, here we go, you can see that one better, like mandala on them. So I don't mean like it's a dollar horse. Well, you could think of it that way too. That's a compliment. But mandala and unicorn. So unidolicorn. Aren't these cute? I just love this fabric. I should keep one of these too. I should keep them all. No, you guys need to have them. And I'm very pleased to report that the people that have them now like them. And I've had 2 people comment, how did I live without these for so long? Because they are so gosh darn handy. So thank you for ordering them, those that have, and the rest of you, dudes, come on. I have a ton in my store. It's not like I'm going to run out tomorrow. So, wouldn't it be nice for me to say, I only have 3 left, hurry and get them, No, not today. Maybe, maybe in a year. I don't know. They're there, they're not expensive. Give it a try. I guarantee you'll like them, as will your babies and your cats. And let's see. Talked about my floss pads. Okay. Does anybody know aside from Ingeborg? Okay. Everyone knows about Ingeborg. She is so wonderful. A stitch too far. I love her. Everyone loves her. Nobody ever has a bad word to say about her because she's just great. Soft-spoken, a gentle sense of humor, sometimes wicked. But aside from her, what other European floss tubers are there? Now, for me, I don't mind Russian or French or Spanish or Italian. Yeah, if you know of any other floss tubers anywhere in Europe, I have the UK covered. I don't have anyone from Ireland, though. That's upsetting. I'd like one from Norway. I mean, I have a friend there, but, he doesn't do floss tube. So, yeah, if you know of anybody in various other countries that people don't know about, I'd sure like to watch them too. And whether you understand what they're saying or not, I think when it comes to cross stitch and crafting, it's all awesome. You don't really need to speak a different language to say, "Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous," or scream with glee, You got to finish. Clap wildly, So let's get back to that drawing, shall we? I haven't thought of anything for the drawing, so Four Seasons. I got it. The saying, if you're going to do, okay, let's talk about this. If you're going to do to everything there is a season, the saying at the bottom, like this, because it's one of my favorite sayings, and I'll tell you why. At the bottom, to everything there is a season. If you can tell me which verses, which number verses this saying at the bottom comes from in Ecclesiastes book 3, tell me what number verses these are. I've already given you like most of the answer, so just go look that up. Just this part of the saying, not the whole shebang, because there's a whole shebang that goes on here. But to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Which verses are those? Put that in the comments below. Let's see who goes for it. But these are fun. I thought about throwing them in my shop and selling them, but then I thought there's no buttons. You know, I don't feel good about, you know, selling a flip it for $1, you know. So, you know, whatever. Here. So, yeah, and you'll get the printout too. So. You know, some people say, and after a while, you just can't stand it anymore. It makes me laugh because the people that are doing it, like myself, eventually become aware that that's what they're doing. And then if they go back and they watch their video so they can edit content, like I will do, then, or if you've been watching a lot of Floss Tube and you've been listening to, and so anyway, you know, you end up doing that in your own Floss Tube, and I think it's funny. It's like yawning. Everybody's got to do it when you're done. Anyway, that's just fun stuff. Okay, so I believe that's all I had to say today. So I hope everyone is having a beautiful day because the sun is shining outside. And the weather is changing. It's cooled down here. I don't know about where you are. I've seen in Canada there's snow, so my brother says there was ice and snow, so you know, who knows? Not here yet. So until next time, my beautiful cross-stitch community, keep on stitching.